We are back to being human beings, except for Houston Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair. Yeah, that's the guy that went head first, elbow first, knee first, shoulder first into a sliding, defenseless Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jags on Sunday, giving him a concussion, leaving him laying there on the field. He did apologize for the Jaguars quarterback, but he's attacking fans and media. Wait for it. You know what's going on. Racist. Got to be racist. Everybody's racist. You attack me for being an idiot, you are a racist. You know, how many times have we heard this playbook? How many times have we seen this? Act like a dumbass, get criticized for it, and the people doing the criticizing are the bad guys. It's almost like there's a playbook that gets passed around. And then you add in anything with Allah or anything with Islam, and now you're an Islamophobe. I mean, were he transgender, you'd be a transphobe. Seriously. Were he homosexual, you'd be a homophobe. Man, labels be labels, and we keep labeling others for our stupidity. That's the way I look at it. You may not. My goal is to hit you as hard as I can. Then I pray you're still able to get up and play the next play, says the known cheap shot artist. Look, this isn't the first time for this idiot. He's hit people out of bounds. He went straight for the throat of Tom Brady. So this guy's full of crap, but we'll indulge. And when the game is over, go home to your family unharmed, but because it's not personal, it's just competition. You ever notice that? Guys that act like idiots always cry about competition or being a competitor. It's always in there, as if that clears them from being dumbasses. And this guy's clearly a dumbass. We both try to do the same thing, which is provide for our family. I generally didn't see him sliding until it was too late, and it all happens in a blink of an eye. To Trevor, I genuinely apologize to you for what ended up happening. Very nice. Now, give credit where it's due. Very nice. Now, seriously, to the rest of the people who I've been called every single name in the book, from reporters with their hands ready for a story to find their villain. Well, you are a villain in this. I mean, you are the villain. What are you talking about? To racist and Islamophobic fans and people, you don't know my heart. Here it is. Only God can judge me is what he's saying. I'm a man is what it always. There's three things. I'm a man. Only God can judge me. And it's in the past. I'm moving forward. That's the NFL idiot's credo. It is. Actually, that's the professional athlete's credo. You don't know what's in my heart. I'm a man. Yeah, shut up. You're an idiot. No, you are. I'm sorry. You don't know what's in my heart and my character, which I don't need to prove to any of you. All praise to Allah. Yeah, good. Yeah, great. No, you don't need, and nor do we need to prove to you. You're a guy that in 2 years will be working at a gym. You're a guy that in 2 years will be the assistant strength coach at some nondescript high school, or you're a guy that in 2 years will be caught doing something stupid. I mean, it's the NFL way. 75% of you go broke. If you don't go broke, you'll be investing in some kind of business, or you'll be a weight coach. I mean, look, NFL players are all over this city here in Indianapolis, and it's all the same. Maybe one of you goes into finance. I have a rule that I told my very, very influential, very successful brother. Never get involved with NFL or Indiana basketball players, ever. Under no circumstances in any business venture. Ever. Don't do it. They're entitled and they're morons. Don't do it. The entitled part more than morons. Actually, some of them are pretty smart. But the entitled part, well, let me give you something. Azeez Al-Shaair. None of us, and I mean this sincerely, none of us want to know your heart. I don't care who your heart is. Like, I'm not one of those that says, well, you really got to get to know the NFL players. I don't got to get to know nobody. I got to get to know my kids, few friends, wives. See what I did there? All praise Allah. Anyway, I got to do that. Okay. I don't give a damn about some football player's character. I don't give a damn about any of it. I saw your character. You're a cheap shot guy. Just because you say you're not doesn't mean anything. It is a nice apology to Trevor Lawrence. It's something that the old heads in the NFL would go, didn't need to do that. Well, maybe he didn't, maybe he didn't, but he did. Why would anybody, and I say this in all sincerity, why would anybody that is not family related or team related give a damn about what's in Allah's heart or his character? Why? I always ask people that. Oh, man, I love that guy. Really? Well, oh, man, he's the greatest guy. Really? You know what goes on behind closed doors at his house? No. But I see him on the field. So when we see you on the field doing something nice, maybe giving a ball to a kid in the stands, that's your character. But when you go in face first on a defenseless person with your shoulder, your head, everything else, we don't know your character. Oh, okay. Personally, Azeez Al-Shaair, I never heard of you before, and I don't give a damn if I ever hear about you again. You don't know my character. I don't want to know your character. Why would I care? I don't care about Anthony Richardson's character, quarterback for the Colts. I don't give a damn about Jonathan Taylor's character. Why would I care? Hope you're a good guy. If you are, great. If you're not, go away. By the way, the NFL just suspended this idiot for 3 games. They must not know his character. All praise Allah. No pay in those 3 games also. Look at Dylan just giving me breaking news right in my ear. That's the evolution of this show. The note from the NFL, veteran starts off in a contrite tone. Then it kind of goes off the rails in defiance and victimhood. I don't blame you. I don't blame him. Well, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. You got to stick it to the people you can when you can stick it. I'm just speaking from the other side. I mean, there might be a reporter for the Houston Chronicle that cares whether or not Al-Shaair, whatever the hell his name is a good dude or not. I'm not one. I'd care less. You're suspended 3 games. You should be. No pay. Adios. This gets a little angry and accusatory, and frankly, it's Al-Shaair in his feelings, painting himself as attacked by the public, which he is. Hey, look, you guys make zillions of dollars. Even a nondescript linebacker like Abdul Shabazz or whatever the hell this guy's name is makes more money than the average person will make in 10 years. Okay? And the NFL promotes this like nothing else. So people are going to pay attention. And when you act great, people are going to respond in kind. When you act like a jackass, people are going to respond in kind. That's what the NFL wants. That's what the NFL sets up. So don't bitch, whine, and moan when people come at you, although I ain't mad at you for it. Actually, let me retract that statement. Actually, yes, bitch, whine, and moan and go back at those that you feel hurt you. I got no problem with that. I don't. That's what I do. I mean, why do you think we hear about Greg Doyle every day? He's a jackass. He came at me. I come at him. You know what I'm saying. So I have no problem about that. It's not biblical. It's not Jesus-like. It's not Allah-like, but it's what we do. Anyway, all of this came after Al-Shaair, whatever, was wearing so-called Free Palestine cleats that signal his involvement in the NFL's My Cause, My Cleats campaign. Al-Shaair's cleats are meant to raise funds for the Palestine's Children Relief Fund, but the wording on them clearly signal his alliance to people opposing Israel and, quote, statistics of them killed in the Israeli-Hamas war. All I know is this, man, them Hamas dudes a year ago, the worst human beings ever. And if you're supporting that, then you're supporting the worst human beings ever. Al-Shaair obviously got no guidance in writing this statement on Monday, but it's both an apology followed by an attack of his own, which I got no problem with. I honestly don't. I know a lot of people do, and our OutKick guy does here, but I don't. Hey, look, someone comes at you, go right back at him. That's not Jesus. It's not biblical. You're supposed to love your enemies. That's a hard thing for me. No, it is. So I get what he's doing, and I don't have a problem with it. Suspended 3 games, no pay for 3 games. I said it on First Fox and Friends, probably about right. I thought he'd get 5, maybe the rest of the season. The image of Trevor Lawrence laying there. Now, here's a game. Here's a game we play. How soon till this is deemed racist by the usual suspects? How soon until the great Reverend Sharpton, if he can get his fat, non-tax-paying ass off of a leather couch in the Four Seasons Lounge away from his cognac and cigars, how soon does that fat ass make about $35,000 for an appearance saying this is racist, black guy hitting a white guy? How soon does Jamel Hill, Stephen A. Smith, or any of these beautiful race baiters Make it about race. I give it 10 minutes. I give it by the end of the show. What are you going to do? All right, the WNBA has never been more popular. I'm anxious to see if it maintains this type popularity thanks to the likes of Caitlin Clark. So now the league has primed itself for more with a media rights deal that will pay out $200 million annually for 11 years. Now think about that. $200 million annually for 11 years. That's over $2 billion, drawing avid interest in its next expansion team in a city yet to be determined. Cleveland wants a team. Does this happen without Caitlin Clark? Interesting. I think so. I think it got sped up because of Caitlin Clark, like 5 years sped up. Around a dozen potential owners are vying for the franchise, which experts say could fetch up to $200 million. Among them, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes and Boston Celtics forward Jason Tatum. The WNBA is certainly on a roll, and it's understandable that they're trying to capitalize with naming some expansion teams, sports economist Frank Stevenson said. It's something fans of women basketball have spent decades waiting for, a league that's here just not to stay, but to thrive. No, that's really good. Look, here's a question for you. Let me ask you this question, and it's a serious question. How soon until a transgender man plays in the WNBA? I mean, could you imagine if the WNBA, which for 27 years has been the bastion of LGTB, whatever the hell else numbers and letters you want to put on it, if they said no? I mean, if they said no to a transgender player, in fact, I'm thinking about suiting her up. I mean, I got the rack for it. I got to tighten up the waist, pop up the ass a little bit, get in shape, and go out there and try to make a squat. And then when I get cut, I'm going to say, wait a second, I identify as a woman. You're being homophobic. That's coming. Not from me, obviously, but that's coming. I guarantee you that's coming. That's coming like this shirt is red. That's coming like Indiana's in the top 10 in football. That is coming. But let's get back to the facts at hand. You know, a few years ago, you couldn't give away a WNBA franchise. You couldn't. And along came Caitlin Clark with her 18 million viewers in the national championship game last year, 2 years ago, and next thing you know, that followed. There she goes into the WNBA. The barnacle on her ass, Angel Reese, is trying hard too. She's actually got a following. I mean, every time Angel Reese puts on panties and a bra and goes around outside, people go, oh, God, look at her. So that's helpful too. At least the WNBA has gotten away from the awful stigma of lesbianism. Let's be honest, that was the stigma. Angry lesbians. Now, the angry lesbians came out in force this year against Caitlin Clark. They did. Don't tell me they didn't. They did. They were mad at a white, popular, straight girl was getting all of, what do WNBA people say? All of the flowers. She was getting, I call it all of the suck. She was getting all of the attention, all of the praise, and it drove them nuts. So they started doing what angry lesbians do. They acted like idiots, and then they claimed, well, you're being mean to me because I'm lesbian. No, we're being mean to you because you're an idiot. That all subsided, including hate speech from the coach Cheryl Reeves of the Olympics. Not really hate speech, just stupid speech. That little idiot wannabe Dawn Staley, looks like she's in TLC sometimes. And then, of course, Becky Hammon, the dumbest, angriest of them all. That all had to subside when the media did no longer side with them. So now you've got people lining up for a franchise. I think that's very cool. Many people. Here's the interesting thing that you're betting on. If you look at what NFL owners bought franchises for, or NBA owners bought franchises for, and what they're worth now, basically it's hundreds of millions, now billions. Is that the same thing you're looking at if you're Jason Tatum, if you're Patrick Mahomes, if you're any investor in the WNBA? I don't know. But if you got the means and the opportunity, boy, you better sit up at night praying on that one, because that could be incredible. No, it really could, and those opportunities don't come around in professional sports very often. Hey, people be mad. Everybody's mad, and I'm going to ask Jim Boeheim about it. We got Michelle Tafoya, Jim Boeheim, and the great Shane Beamer. I'm going to ask Boeheim about this. UConn is considered the most disappointing NCAA basketball team to start this season. Yahoo Sports seems to think so. They're putting UConn at the top, leading the list of teams, college basketball disappointments in 2024. Side note on this, a lot of people here in Indiana, as Indiana got up to 14th in the country and got blown out by Louisville and Gonzaga, a lot of people say the coach should be fired, and those people are idiots. Not a chance in hell Mike Woodson should be fired. So you Indiana people, shut up. They're 5-2. Woodson said it yesterday. Let the season play out. They're going to be 6-2, 7-2 after this weekend. Minnesota's going to get their ass beat in Assembly Hall Saturday night. Just stop. I digress. Also, here's the list. UConn, Arizona, Houston, Creighton, Miami, Villanova. Well, Villanova is not disappointing. The minute they hired that guy to replace that guy, Jay Wright, that was over. Miami, look, Larinaga has done a pretty good job, but he's a walking dead man. Creighton is a surprise. Houston has played a tough schedule. They have. Calvin Sampson never plays a tough schedule. Calvin Sampson played a tough schedule. Arizona, yeah, man, they don't look so good. Tommy Lloyd was all the rage when he took over for Sean Miller, with Sean Miller's players and Sean Miller's, program. Now not so good. And UConn, shut up with hating on Danny Hurley. We're going to do it right now. You ready? Here comes some stupidity. Hurley can't self-sabotage his team with sideline outbursts the way he did against Memphis and nearly did the following day against Colorado. Okay, Yahoo Sports, shut up. You really? The guy lost a couple games, lost his mind, just won 2 national championships, and some douchebag on Yahoo Sports is going to tell us about just no. I refuse to believe this, unless this is Dan Wetzel. If it's Dan Wetzel, then I'll believe it. But let's stop with the stupid. Now, seriously, let's just stop with the stupid. I mean, let's be honest. You want to say something about Hurley being a bad coach, you want to say something, you're an idiot. Now, I know I'm throwing around the word idiot today. All right? I know I am. But just stop. Danny Hurley has won games. Danny Hurley has won big games. Danny Hurley has won more games than any of these guys on this thing combined. His team stinks. This is Danny Hurley's way of coaching his team. It's great when he's winning a championship. And now, according to Mo, Larry, or Curley, whoever the hell this guy is, it's self-sabotage. Just stop. The players played like crap, and Hurley was doing exactly what he needed to do to put himself in a position, his team in a position to win the game. Now, let's just understand that immediately. Jeff Eisenberg, who wrote this story, would not know a basketball if it was blown up or stuffed. Jeff Eisenberg is the typical little douchebag that hung around. He's been covering college basketball since 2010. Oh, shut up. Jeff Eisenberg doesn't know shit. Jeff Eisenberg is one of those dudes that thinks players should be freaking paid, and everybody that's mean is mean. Oh, shut up. Just shut up. Yes, here now he goes to his stupidity. Yes, the free throw discrepancy in Miami was not in UConn's favor. Yes, some borderline calls, key moments went against the Huskies. But Hurley can't lose his composure. How does this guy Eisenberg know? How does Jeff Eisenberg know that Hurley can't lose his composure? Maybe his team is waiting for him to lose his composure. Maybe his team is so uncompetitive that Hurley, by losing his composure and getting a technical, actually made him compete harder. Jeff Eisenberg has been in a locker room traditionally for 3 things. Take a peek at some guy, ask a question, get an autograph. That's it. He doesn't know shit. He really doesn't. But this is what we do. We build guys up to tear them down. Danny Hurley is doing whatever he has to do to win a basketball game. That is all that is important to him. And if it offends little fans sitting by him or it offends balding young guys like Jeff Eisenberg, tough shit. But Hurley can't lose his composure. He just did. He did all last year and risked technicals. The UConn team doesn't have the margin for error to support. Ultimately, UConn is probably not as bad as it looked when the quality opponents exposed defensive issues and 3 games in 3 days left no time to fix them. Of course you can fix them. What are you talking about? Hurley said that knowing that some idiot reporter like Jeff Eisenberg would write that. Of course you can fix them. You go in a hotel room, you get your team, you fix them. Hurley knows that. Next 3 games against Baylor, Texas, Gonzaga will be a better barometer whether the Huskers are actually in free fall or just a notch below their impossibly high standard. Okay. Jeff Eisenberg. You look at these guys and you just laugh. I look at these guys on panels. Seth Davis. Seth Davis is there because his daddy's some rich lawyer. Gary Parrish, the fat, bald guy who never played a sport in his life. These guys are a joke. UConn will be fine, and Danny Hurley's doing exactly what he should do. Hey, LeBron James Media Company lost almost $30 million in 2023 and has reportedly never turned a profit. That's on the books. You know LeBron's getting his, baby. You know Maverick and the boys are getting his. True story. When CAA, the very famous talent agency, was recruiting me to leave my guy Maury to go over to CAA, they set up a trip. I think it was Universal Studios with me, my wife, and my boy Bart Fox, our producer. Well, the head of the studio was driving us around in a golf cart, and he pointed over there, and he said, see that? That's a movie set. See that building in the middle of it? That's actually a working building. It's LeBron James's office that we set up for him here. And he said LeBron James, when his team brings a project, it's always really well done. When Magic Johnson brings one, it's sloppy, haphazard, and they don't even pay attention to it. That's what he said. I don't know. Next thing you know, LeBron James is losing $30 million and never turned a profit. SpringHill, the media company that James co-founded in 2020, managed to account for $104 million in sales in 2023, but despite that 9-figure number, the company lost $28 million. I wonder if they did the same thing that Kamala Harris did. You know, you bring in all this money and you spend way more. You know, the election, Harris's campaign, was a money laundering scheme. I wonder if James is doing this mafia style. You know, the mafia sets up a legitimate business to show a loss on the books, and they're filtering, they're skimming. I wonder if James Maverick and the fellas are skimming. I don't know if you're allowed to call him a crew. Yeah, I am. I wonder if James and his crew, his posse, his boys, I wonder if they set this up Kamala Harris style, mafia style. I don't know. According to documents obtained by Bloomberg, the $28 million loss came a year after the company lost 17 in 2022 and is expected to lose millions more in 2024. Yeah, I smell a rat here. I do. I smell a little bit. 2 for me, 1 for the company. 3 for me, 2 for the company. 4 for me, 1 for the company. You know what I'm saying? Go watch Michael Frazzini, whatever the hell his name is, former mob guy on YouTube videos. It tells you what's going on. It does. I ain't buying it. The media company, named after the Ohio housing complex James grew up in, creates and produces TV shows and movies, most notable the remake of Space Jam, which it was a box office disaster in 2021. Yeah, I ain't buying it. James pretty smart. Maverick's pretty smart. They're pretty smart. 2 for me, 1 for the business. They're getting fat. I'm sure they are not worried about it. Hey, we got Diva wide receiver alert. Diva wide receiver alert. George Pickens in the crosshairs of his head coach, the great Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, calling out Pickens following the team's 44-38 victory over the Bengals on Sunday. Here's Mike Tomlin.
You just got to grow up, man. It's an emotional game, man. These divisional games are big. He got a target on his back because he's George. He understands that. But he's got to grow up. He's got to grow up in a hurry.
There you go. You got to grow up in a hurry. You never hear a coach calling people out like that. That means Tomlin knows exactly who Tomlin is. He's secure in who he is, where his position is in the NFL, what his position is with the Steelers, and the support of the Rooney family, and I'm digging it. Boy, I wish more people had that kind of support. That would help young people. See, I coached for 30 years, and I'm kind of nasty sometimes to folks. I get it because I'm a coach at heart, a teacher, an educator, and I believe in tough love. I believe in coddling when necessary, tough love when necessary as well. Pisses people off, makes them crazy. Because in our society, you're not allowed to do that if you're a coach. Well, not being allowed to do that has shown a proliferation of idiotic brawls in college football. Pickens' conduct has been under the microscope this season. He's acted like an idiot. He's really talented, though. He got in a fight with defensive back Greg Newsome II in their Thursday night match last month. He's been accused of taking plays off. Of course he does. He's a wide receiver. On Sunday, Pickens made a costly ejection, avoided a costly ejection over his penalties. One of the flags came when he made a violent gesture. I think it's a shotgun thing after picking up a first down. NFL officials believed he was making a gun-like gesture that has been seen throughout the league this season. So a penalty was called. Pickens said, like all say, the officials misinterpreted his hand signal. That's about the 17th time this year I've heard some clown in the NFL get fined or get a penalty and say they misinterpreted it. Okay, me too. The other penalty came when he threw a ball to a group of Bengal players in the first quarter. Pickens said he did not need to do anything differently because he's a diva wide receiver with a sixth-grade education that has had his ass kissed his entire life. So why would T. Boone Pickens think he's got to do something differently? Why would he? Why would Slim Pickens? I'm going with all the famous Pickens that I know. Slim Pickens was what was he? He was a singer back in the day, a yodeler maybe. T. Boone Pickens was the richest guy in like the South and gave all the money so Mike Gundy could lose 52-0 to Deion Sanders. Yeah, see what I did there? Pretty good. Not a lot of you know those two Pickens. I do because I'm old. CNN political analyst Scott Jennings, who is now America's journalist, he is to TV what Bobby Barack is to the print media. They are America's conscience. He just took a blowtorch to Democrats over Joe Biden's pardon of his son, Hunter Biden. Never again do I want to hear Trump's a liar. You can't believe anything he says. Let's hear from Scott Jennings. This is good.
Joe Biden is leaving office making the strongest possible case for Donald Trump that anybody could possibly make it, and that's that our government and our justice system is of, by, and for the elites and nobody else. He ran to banish Trumpism from our political system in this country, and he has left it politically and now institutionally the strongest possible political force in this country. It is a complete and utter failure by the head of the Democratic Party and the President of the United States. Never again do I want to hear, oh, Donald Trump's a liar. You can't believe anything he says. Donald Trump will abuse his power. Donald Trump will only use the system to benefit himself and his family and so on and so forth. Never again. I have one question for Karen, and that is, why did he need an 11-year blanket pardon going back to 2014 when Joe Biden was the vice president? We are sitting on the biggest cover-up of who knows what crimes, and Joe Biden amazingly knows exactly, roughly, when it started. He knows just about when it all started. He's leaving office in complete and total disgrace. He is a liar, and there is no other way to spin this today. This has nothing to do with Trump and everything to do with the character of Joe Biden.
I love the bigot on the left. She just can't stomach it. You know what I mean? The DEI on the left, the woman's like, hey, here's a little Joe Biden with some community notes about no one's above the law. There you go. No one is above the law. This is the greatest community note ever, isn't it? On December 1st, 2024, President Joe Biden pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, for crimes committed for nearly 11 years of offenses against the United States, which he has committed or may have committed or taken part of during the period from January 1, 2014 through December 1, 2024. Isn't that amazing? Here's a little bit of the White House. Here's a little bit about what's that?
Second one, would the president pardon or commute his son if he's convicted?
So I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
Okay. Let me go back to the first question of the briefing. I know you said not a lot's changed since yesterday and that it's a personal matter, but from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
You've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's say he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
We all knew he would. I mean, look, she's just doing her job. She's inconsequential. She's just a mouthpiece. But the way she does it is so beautiful. I'll give her credit. She's a nice dresser. She is. She's a very nice dresser. But she sits up there with her arrogant DEI ass and acts like we're all stupid for even asking the question. The question needed to be asked. It was, repeatedly, and they said no repeatedly. Is she a liar? Probably not. I mean, she's just doing what she's told. What's she going to do? You know, president's sitting in there nine doing. Everybody and their mother knew he would. I would. I don't think I'd lie about it. I don't think I'd have a history of lying like him. Maybe I do. I don't know. I got to go back and check the files. But, wow. All right, here's more Scott Jennings. There has never been a bigger set of liars in this office than the Bidens. Not even close the entire term, one after another, over and over and over. And not on small petty stuff either. You know, Joe Biden back in the 80s got kicked off of a presidential campaign because he's a liar. Then again in the 90s because he's a liar. I mean, he is the largest, biggest liar in the history of American politics. And I've said this before, and I'll say this again. When they, meaning the Democrats, the liberals, started throwing the liar montage or the liar moniker on Donald Trump, it was what they do. They project onto everyone else what it is they are doing. Persecute your political opponents. Really? Well, Trump's the one being persecuted. Weird. Hey, man, you seen that Waltz woman? You seen that Walt's wife or the Harris daughter? Whew. Anyway, never been a bigger set of liars in this offer than the Bidens. Not even close. Boy, is he right. The entire term, lie after lie after lie. Wrap your head around this. President Trump was impeached over wanting to look into the crimes Joe Biden just pardoned Hunter for. This whole swamp is a mess. This whole group of people are train wrecks. See, I've said this. Donald Trump has not cleaned out the swamp. He's exposed it. We all know now, anybody paying attention that has a reasonable brain, we all know the Bidens are America's biggest liars. We all know that the Bidens are America's crime family. We know this. We know that House of Cards is true. We know that Veep is true when we see Kamala Harris. TV becomes reality. Actually, it's reality TV, and I'm not talking about The Voice. Now, we know Pelosi is a stock cheat. Good for her. We know all these people are complete frauds. Who was that idiot from Georgia, Johnson, that said Guam was going to sink into the water if you put too many troops in there? Who's that one lady that gives it like this with the eyelashes? We know these people are stone idiots. A few years ago, you couldn't say it. You can say it now because we've watched it unfold right in front of our eyes. We've seen this. Now, the interesting thing is going to be this. The interesting thing is going to be, will it get drained? Will anything happen to anybody? You know the answer to that, no. Hunter Biden walks away scot-free. Joe Biden, he's going to die in about a year and a half. He walks away scot-free. Jill Biden, the babysitter who is having an affair with America's decent president, Joe Biden, will walk away with a ton of green. She'll end up stooping someone on a beach somewhere. By the way, Jill, nobody wants to see old people kiss. Just a thought from your friend Double D. No, these people are gross. These people are disgusting. These people have been exposed. The only way to eliminate, term limits. Get some term limits in here and get these jackasses out. What's that one guy's name? Adam Schiff? How about his face? I mean, if anybody in Congress has a more punchable face. Last thing on this. Apparently, AOC, speaking of faces, is thinking about a run for president. Perfect. Shows once again Democrats haven't learned a thing. Every time they run a woman, it's a horrible candidate. Nobody and more left than AOC. It's amazing. Here's a simple solution for you. I actually talked about this on the great Cato Kalin and Tom Zenner's podcast yesterday. Learn from your mistakes. Do yourself a favor. Get some policies that fit us, the American people, instead of the name calling, instead of the far left pandering. Not one person outside the LGTB ABCD community gives a shit about the LGTB ABCD community, good or bad. No one's trying to hurt them. Stop throwing everything in our face. It's that simple.